Convener of revolutionary protest, Omoyele Sowore, has also been released by the Department of State Services. Mr. Sowore and his co-defendant, Olawale Bakare, are standing trial for treasonable felony, money laundering, amongst other charges. After leaving the agency's office in Abuja, he made a brief stop to acknowledge greeting from some well-wishers.
The only thing is to thank Nigerians. Yes. They made this happen. Yes. And they should not relent. Nobody can take the people who are determined for granted. Yes. Merry Christmas to Nigeria.
Yes, thank you.
And lawyer Inibehe Effiong joins me in the studio to discuss this. Many thanks to you, Inibehe Effiong, for joining us on this Christmas afternoon.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you too.
Merry Christmas to you. We're talking about Christmas. It came early for the Dasukis and the Sowores. What do you make of the release of Dasuki and Sowore according to the order from the federal government?
It appears what the federal government has done is a belated attempt at self-redemption, having flagrantly flouted several court orders for the release of the two individuals, Colonel Sambo Dasuki and Mr. Sowore. The federal government, presumably so, has now realized that we cannot run a country, we cannot have a country where a president who swore to uphold the Constitution will supervise the disobedience of the courts. Because when that happens, it implies that the entire democratic process has crumbled. But in reacting to their release, we must also draw attention to the fact that on Monday, individuals who were at the National Human Rights Commission to protest for their release were attacked. These people were attacked at the National Human Rights Commission in the presence of the police. And I find it astonishing that up to this moment, no single person has been arrested. The person who led that protest spoke to the media. His name is Ibrahim Kabiru Dala from Nasarawa State. He is known. Why has he not been arrested? Again, we must also make the point that apart from Sowore and Sambo Dasuki, there are other Nigerians who are also being detained illegally, who are also being detained on account of expressing themselves. We have Abaja Lingo in Cross River State, who is being kept in prison or what is now known as correctional center, just because he wrote an article which is said to have exposed a fraud in a microfinance bank. Okay. And he's being charged for treason, he's being charged for terrorism. So we are also calling on the governor of Cross River State and the leadership of the People's Democratic Party, because it is their governor that is committing this grave violation, to see that Abba Jalingo is released immediately.
Okay. You just heard the statement from the president saying that, look, when it comes to human rights abuses in the country, his conscience is clear. Do you think that this release might have had something to do with the report by the United States saying Nigeria, in terms of human rights abuses and marginalization, religious marginalization, it is rife in the country?
For us, we commend the international community, particularly the governments of the United States, for the efforts they have made in pushing for the enforcement of the rights of Nigerians. I want to agree that the pressure mounted within and outside the country, particularly by the US. You're also aware that members of the United States Congress are also written to the Attorney General. I believe this had bearing on the president. But why this is interesting is also that we shouldn't get to a point as a country that the commander-in-chief, the president of Nigeria, will have to wait for the international pressure before he yields to the demands of the law. We should be able to build a country on the rule of law where our institutions are respected. And I also want to correct the impression that, the president ordered the release of these individuals. That is not correct. They only complied with the order of the court, because it is the Attorney General's office that is prosecuting Sowore. It is the president or the presidency and the federal government that detain them. So the federal government could not have given an order to the federal government. It is good that they have now complied with the order, but that must also be accompanied with three things: compensation, public apology, and punishment for those who were directly involved in the violation of the court orders. And until these demands are met, there is no way the harm that has been done can be effectively remedied. So we continue to call on the president to go beyond press statements and begin to take action. We are also calling for justice for members of the Shiites who have been murdered, for members of IPOB who have been murdered, including the report by the Kaduna State government that found that members of IPOB were killed, of the Shiites were killed and buried in shadowed graves. There has been no compensation. Nobody has been tried. We have one Daddy Yatta from Kanu, from Kaduna, who is said to be missing. He hasn't been found for several months. The security agencies in Nigeria haven't done anything. So when you have this cycle, unprecedented level of gross human rights abuses all over the country, one wonders why the president says he has respect for the rights of Nigerians. But we are calling for action. We are calling for an end to this regime of the violation of the rights of Nigerians.
All right. I know that you are very conversant with the Sowore case. What next for that case? He's been released. There's still charges against him. So what next when it comes to that case?
We are 100% ready for trial. We are 100% ready for trial. I can confirm to you that Sowore is in high spirit. I spoke with him last night. I know that he's very confident that he's going to be vindicated at the end of the day. Let the matter be tried in court. Let them come to court and prove that the word revolution is a crime under any law in this country. Sowore is ready for trial. But we are saying that let that trial be within the purview of the Constitution in terms of his right to fair hearing. You cannot say you want to try somebody and you are disregarding the same judicial process that is going to determine the guilt of that person. We are interested in the trial. They should call their witnesses, present whatever evidence they have, and prove to the world that Sowore committed a crime. Until they do that, he is still entitled to the constitutional right to presumption of innocence.
Lawyer Inibehe Effiong, many thanks for your time on this issue.
Thank you.